Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How are you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new campaign series here today on the channel. We're going to be playing Rise of Mordor. We're going to be playing a Gondor campaign on the War of the Ring submod. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions for the series and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. The main objective of this Gondor series is to destroy Sauron and Mordor for once and for all. I'm going to put in the description below the mod if you guys would like to download it and play along with me. You're going to need to download the official Rise of Mordor units, as you can see on screen now, and the War of the Ring submod on Steam. So, without further ado, let's get stuck into the campaign. Okay guys, welcome to the main menu. Let's get stuck into it, to the Rise of Mordor War of the Ring campaign. Check out the background. Whoever did that deserves a raise. They've really outdone themselves keeping it, I guess that's Numenorean soldiers. Yeah, it looks similar to the Total War Attila theme, which is what this game is based on. So, for this campaign, we're going to be playing on normal difficulty because it's still in very early stages of development and a lot of stuff is unbalanced and needs to be polished. So we can go into the settings and put it to very hard battles if things get a little bit too easy. So we'll keep it on normal for now. Normally I play my campaigns on very hard. So we have Gondor here with King Isildur. Now this is a bit of a mismatch, a mismatch of factions is the best way to call it. So all the timelines are jumbled here at the moment. So we're going to be playing as Gondor, really focusing on Mordor. You can play as Arnor here with King Isildur the Old. Imperial allegiance as well. We've also got the Elven Kingdoms, the Dwarves, Gundabad, Sauron's legions, Isengard, the Men of the West, the Eastlings, and the Southrons here. Moving over to Thranduil the Elven King. You can play as the Sylvan Elves if you want in this campaign. I am open to doing more on this mod, if that's something you like to see. Maybe I need to hold a vote and a poll. We have the Dwarves of Eredluin, Dane Ironfoot II. We've also got Durin's folk there, who are a Horde faction. So they are the dwarf models. We've got Gundabad as well, with Azog the Defiler. And you're most welcome to look at the cultural traits and faction traits as well. We have Sauron's legions, with the Witch King of Angmar. Look how fantastic that model looks, along with Sauron himself. So I am open to playing it and testing around with multiple factions. Check out these swift spoils there. You get a massive amount from raiding. We've also got Saruman's fighting Uruk-hai, which is a really cool Horde faction with Lurtz. And then we have the Orthanc faction with Saruman itself. We've got the Men of the West. There is a really cool Rohan mod currently available, so if they could somehow patch that into this mod, you could actually play a Rohan campaign. Of course, we've got Dale, and then we have the Easterling factions as well. Probably the best looking unit. Check out this Kingdom of Rune soldier in the intro screen there. They look absolutely fantastic. The Dragon Lords, and then we have the Southron tribes as well, the Serpent Kingdom of Harad. But for this time around, we're going to be playing as Gondor. Alrighty, welcome to the campaign map for the Gondor campaign. But please do take into consideration that this campaign is not on a custom battle, sort of map of Middle Earth. For now, it's currently on the Attila European map. So, if you want to play this campaign, you are going to have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. But I actually don't mind this scenario. Essentially, we're playing the East and Western Roman Empire, but with Lord of the Rings factions. So as you can see here, as Gondor, we are essentially the Eastern Roman Empire that need to throw back Sauron, which are the Persians in the Far East. And that's what we're going to be doing. But the thing is, right, every single battle we play is still going to be its own unique scenario and a problem solve solving event, which we have to do. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some Easterlings in our territory near Minas Tirith. And let's see how many armies we've got in operation. So we've got one down in Umbar. So the Gondorians have taken Umbar. We've got Osgiliath under control as well. And then we have an army near Minas Tirith. So from what I can remember lore-wise, wasn't there heaps of Easterlings invading and raiding the Empire at this time period? Or the Kingdom, rather? Yeah, I think the Rohirrim actually came out and helped us out. So we do have some military alliances with Northern Harad. And we do have a military alliance with Arnor. Defensive alliance with Northern Harad. We are at war with the Easterlings. Durin's folk, for whatever reason. Okay, we don't like the Dwarves. And the Necromancer to the north. We've also got the Southern Haradrim and the tribes of Khand, who have bent the knee to us for now. But I'll put in the description below if you guys would like to download it and play along with me. So we're really only going to be focusing on the eastern part of the map against Saruman. I am open to maybe betraying Arnor and the bloodline of Isildur, but we'll just have to see. So military-wise as well, we're going to go down into Civic for now. And there are a lot of custom building chains, so we will eventually be able to get some of the cool and unique heavy to medium tier Gondorian units as well. Objectives, they basically follow the Attila stuff, so that's cool. There's going to be chapter objectives along with other missions and objectives as well. So, looking at our family tree, we have Elendor, son of Elendil, and Anarion as well. So we are in the time period of the Gondor Kingdom of Númenórean Kings, as Arnor is in this campaign as well. Like I said, it's a bit of a mash of timelines, so this is more of the Second Age in Lord of the Rings. We could convert to Black Númenóreans if we wanted to. We currently follow the religion of Iluvatar, which is 48%. We've got some officers and councils we can bring in. So, depending on what sort of scenario you want to play, you can sort of focus on what side of the map. For example, if you really want to play as Arnor and hold on to the declining and struggling kingdom, you can focus with the Witch King of Angmar. If you want to play as the Elves and throw back the Dwarves and Rohan, that'd be quite cool. But we need to prepare for war with Sauron. Alright, so we have to deal with these Easterlings firstly, then Sauron. But let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions, where you'd like me to expand and conquer. This campaign is going to be a lot of fun. But also please do take into consideration that it's still pretty early in development. There's a lot of bugs. I've had various crashes and problems here and there. And the major one I found testing out this mod already is siege battles don't work for whatever reason. So we have to force field battles, which is fine. I'm going to be bringing in Anarion and Elendor into our army soon. Now, if you haven't gone and checked out my Third Age Total War, it wasn't Divide and Conquer. What was the mod called? I can't remember what the mod was called now. DCI, Last Alliance. That was it. Now I remember. Yeah, so I actually played as the two Númenórean kingdoms of old, Gondor and Arnor, as they split. So if you want to see a map of Middle-earth, I check out that campaign. But we're still going to have some good battles in this series. We need to prepare the defense. So let's bring in Elendor here as well. But yeah. Not only is the map in Europe, which is unrealistic, but there are like Rohan and like, well, I think it's like Thranduil's probably alive at this time period. You never know, really. Okay, but we need to defend our lands. So I think Minas Tirith and the raid from the Easterlings, there's not really too much we can do. We've got some more posturing on the border there as well. But we'll rally up at Osgiliath to try and throw back the invaders. So there's going to be a lot of horde factions and stuff we have to deal with as well. So we do have a fair few armies in effect, but they're not the strongest. So let's move this army up here with Elendor. We can have access to orcs as mercenaries, I guess, if we want in the future. Let's get some Gondorian infantry soon. And I think holding a front over on the far east is the play. But firstly, for this episode, we have to deal with the Easterlings. So let's hold here for now. We might have to abandon Umbar in these southern territories, but we'll just have to see. We'll rally up here in Nova. Oh, those Gondorian Cavalry are going to be incredibly useful in this series. I have tested them out in custom and multiplayer battles for Rise of Mordor. I am open to maybe doing some online battles and casting some of them, so let me know if you guys have any online Rise of Mordor replays, and feel free to send them to me at my business address. Okay, so buildings wise, the problem always in Attila is public order, food and sanitation. So getting Gondorian fountains in for public order, sanitation, then we can focus on the public order and food issue. But the Eastern Roman Empire in Attila always has an easier time than the West. You usually have to abandon a lot of territory to try and hold it. But it's probably kind of realistic, because in this rough time period as well, there's a great plague going in Gondor in the Second Age. So our sanitation is super low here in these areas. In South Gondor, Harandor and Umbar. So we need to focus on that. We've got plenty... Oh, I actually don't have that best fertility. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. We'll eventually bring in governors as well to get growth, but it looks like the Easterlings are on the front foot, raiding and pillaging Gondorian lands. So dealing with hordes pretty early on in the Eastern Roman Empire campaign is kind of similar to this. But once you sort of zoom in and don't realize the borders of Europe, you still can get immersed. But the thing is, right, regardless of the terrain and stuff, every single battle basically looks the same. Would look the same as if it was in Middle-earth anyway. Okay, that's alright. But there are also some missing models and stuff. For example, that's a barbarian over our men, not an Easterling looking warrior. I don't know, maybe they got some Dunlings fighting in their ranks, and we've got a bit of a famine going on. So the Necromancer in the north wants peace. I'm happy to do that. I want to try and limit my wars for now, because I'm sure Arnor is going to call me into their wars eventually. Now, I would play this battle. However, settlement battles don't work in this. For some reason, whatever they've done to the battles, I think it might be just a missed thing in the code, but you can't play siege defenses, which is annoying. Like, regardless of how good your PC is, the frames just kill it, so that's the thing that I've experienced. The fighting Uruk-hai and Irolingas have declared war upon Arnor. Looks like the Rohirrim are at war with our ally Arnor. We could break away, but they're so far away that they're probably not going to be too much of an issue. Yeah. Not unless you make me, I'm not joining too many wars. Arnor. And I think they have Numenorian units. Okay. So, we've got two full stacks here with Elendor and Anarion. Anarion. Isn't like... it's the High Elves thing from Warhammer 2, isn't it? Anarion. I can't be the only one that's fantasy sort of meshes all in once. Anorion. So what's going on over here? Lurtz is tearing up Arnor. Edoras is under siege by Easterlings. And it looks like Eriador is currently about to be under attack by the Witch King of Angmar, who's pushing further south to the Shire. Okay, right. So we need to deal with these Easterling units. So Minas Tirith is currently under siege after holding in our capital of Osgiliath, because that was the capital at this time period. They've now fled back, which is fine. So we've liberated the quick assault at Minas Tirith. And now they've pushed back, and we should have the Battle of Pelennor Fields. We've also got some garrison units coming in. So let's do a quick save and a hard save, and we'll fight this one on the battle map. It's going to be a good one. We have the Battle of Pelennor Fields. We're going to be throwing back some Easterlings here today. So once we deal with these Easterlings, we should be able to have an aggressive push. But I quite like what they've done with this mod. The background looks great, the UI, the Battle of Minas Tirith. This mod has been on the workshop for about 10 months or so, but there was a recent update to it, so I thought I'd play it. I haven't done too much Rise of Mordor on the channel, but I am definitely open to do some more. I have noticed that they have the actual official Rise of Mordor team have been doing developer updates and have been working on a custom version of Middle-earth, but it's still a little bit away. I'd love to get my hands on it at some point if I can, just sort of test things around and make some content on. But yeah, alright, let's form up. So here we have Minas Tirith in the background there. I'm going to say that's the mountain of Minas Tirith, I guess. We have 4 units of medium spears, and then the rest medium swords, and then the rest lighter. We've got 2 units of spears, 4 units of Gondorian archers, and 2 Gondorian cavalry units. Alright, let's start the battle. Quickly pause and have a look at the fantastic units that we're going to be using and operating with in this mod. So here are your stock standard sort of low to medium tier Gondorian infantry, with the white tree of Gondor on their breast, while we have medium cavalry here now. And this is the more iconic armor you guys have seen in, of course, The Return of the King and Lord of the Rings movies. But here are the Gondorian Cavalry. They are going to be the real MVPs of this battle, hopefully, running down the Easterling Scourge, which have invaded our lands, tormented our people too long. Even the mountain chain looks very New Zealandy. It's cool. Archers in the second row there. And then we have the general unit. Now, some of the general units are reskinned. No, let's not look at that. That looks a little bit too medieval for my liking, so we're only keeping on the custom Gondor units. But here are the spearmen and the weaker sword units as well. Alright, let's grab all the infantry. We outnumber them numerically, so we'll try and wrap around and envelop. Cavalry on the left and right, and our reinforcing army coming in. But here come the cavalry of Gondor, pushing to scout ahead, ready to do high octane rapping charges. Man, the units in Rise of Mordor look so good. If we just had these type of battles in Medieval 2, a man can dream and wish. Now, we haven't got any line of sight against the Easterlings just yet. I have noticed in this mod that it takes a little bit. But here are our reinforcements coming in. We have some additional Gondorian cavalry coming in from the garrison. And also, this garrison does have access to some heavier Gondorian swords. And hopefully we'll get those in our ranks eventually. But they are going to be really coming in to help us out. Alright, let's have a look at the Easterling invaders who have moved south and are hanging in and around Minas Tirith. So here we have the Golden Horde archers, and here are the iconic Easterling units. Even as like the black speech, whatever speech it is, on their shields as well. I really can't wait until the official team puts out a custom map mod. It's going to be superb. But in the meantime, I do recommend checking out Divide and Conquer. Let's move up there. Let's move here as well. And I have actually recently wrapped up a Rune series. And the units in that mod still look good. Okay, so let's give out individual attack orders for my Gondorian soldiers. We'll try and wrap around there as well. Alright, men, move out. Now, we don't have medium to too many armor-piercing rounds with the Gondorian archers, so we're going to have to use flame. We already outnumber them, so maybe trying to make them round is the play. Our infantry are now pushing up, trying to close the distance, while our cavalry is slowly but surely gaining ground and going around the flanks. The cavalry is what we're really going to have to rely on in this series, as it's a decently armoured unit that we have access early on. I want to try and focus on the Easterling archers, but we'll just have to see, as they are quite armoured themselves. So we'll try and form up and try and get a charge. But it looks like the Gondorian infantry might engage theirs. We'll swing our cavalry down and around because we might get an opportunity if we're lucky. There's 120 in there. The Eastlings are getting their shots off, but the Gondorian Cavalry has managed to pick an angle while our archers rain fire and death upon the front line. And here comes the brave Cavalry of Gondor. Fantastic scenes as they clash upon the archers in the back line there. Our Gondorian front line is engaging the Easterlings in hand-to-hand combat. Swords and shields are shattered and splintered. Perfect. Okay, let's reform because we don't want them to get too cool like that. We just want to completely wrap around their infantry. Their skirmishers aren't doing too bad. They're actually pulling away from the battle. Our archers using flammable ammunition just to drop the morale. It also looks quite cool. Ironic. The Dragon Lords are having fire and death rained down upon them. Or the Dragon Worshippers, let's say. But the Gondorian infantry's getting stuck into the thick of it. They might be not as well equipped as their Easterling counterparts. As you can see there, the Eastlings are still fighting bravely. Poor guy got a mace through his gut. Trying to slow things down because of the crazy hand-to-hand combat. A brave Gondorian, lightly armoured, not even without a helm, keeps on charging against the Easterling. Keeps on going relentingly. I wonder if we can get some unique cinematic shots there. Anyway, we need to deal with those archers. We're sitting flat-footed here. We're losing a little bit of casualties. We don't want that to happen. I don't think those garrison reinforcements are going to make it just yet. But that's alright. We've managed to kite away their archers. They haven't really been that useful. They're now routing, completely surrounded with fire raining upon them, has made the Easterling host capitulate, and now with them fully retreating, once a unit fully breaks and retreats, a lot more unique animations happen. And here we go, A brave Easterling beating a poor Gondorian to the ground. Will he submit? He won't. Drives his sword straight through the chest of that Eastling. I haven't seen such a brutal animation like that in so long. Oh my god. Right, we'll try and run down the last of these bowmen here, as the infantry are now in a full retreat. Alright, let's end that one there. A decisive victory. We deployed 3,433 with an Orien, the King of Gondor. He lost 352. Alaric of the Easterlings. That's a very sort of barbarian name. I guess it's quite fitting. They deployed 1,042. And they lost just shy of 1,000 as well. So we've thrown back one of the Loki Khan forces, and we'll move the garrison further up, the secondary army, just in case they get attacked. Okay, Rovanian has attacked Darnell, I guess. They're dragging me into so many wars. With the Easterling army defeated, they've decided to colonize some of my territory. That will not do, so we'll push down here and retake the settlement with our invisible soldier. I guess it's just a standard. I don't know, maybe you're not meant to bring and fight with the faction leaders. But I want to get them ranked up. They don't want peace. Like, I just want to try and keep amicable relations with Arnor. Because I don't particularly want to get rid of them or go to war with them just yet. So maybe just try and make peace where we can. With some factions. Yeah, there we go. Make it. Yeah. Make it so that we don't have too many wars. Let's try and replenish and repair where we can. Because we've got a massive food crisis, as you can see, that we need to focus on. Then public order. Then sanitation. So we'll try and develop undeveloped land where we can. So far, for now, the religion of and belief in Iluvatar is fine for now. It looks like we haven't got too much religious discontent. But if you want to sort of roleplay, like allowing the Black Numenorians to take over might be cool. The Iron Hills have attacked Arnor. I guess we're at war with the Dwarves now as well. Look at this. The Witch King of Angmar has taken the Shire. Okay guys, welcome back. So, I've skipped a little bit ahead. After the war with the Easterlings and making peace with them, we didn't have any external horde threats. So I've skipped ahead so that I'm ready for the war against Mordor. We have 3 full stacks in operation. Our food, public order and sanitation. We've pushed off the plague in Gondor, and we're not really at threat with too many other factions. We have a lot of armies garrisoning in and around from Osgiliath, Umbar, Minas Tirith, and in and around our territory. And we have Elendor, Anarion, and another full stack as well. We're going to be pushing eastward against Sauron. Has 2 stacks that he's mustering. We're not at war with too many people now, but we'll try and somehow join a war against him, but we might be better off just a war deck, because we do have our allies in Northern Harad and a couple of others. But we will be at war with a lot of various orc tribes, but I really want to try and just focus on eliminating Mordor, Sauron, and the Great Threat. So the Southern Haradrim and the tribe of Khand are going to come out and help us. So, it's time to push over and deal with Mordor. But maybe if we can defeat them, we might be able to make peace with a lot of their puppets. So let's push out and deal with the servants of Sauron and the mouth of Sauron as well. So, they've got a fair few forces further back there. So we'll push in to block that army. There's even another one there with the goblins. So we'll block that army from coming in. We'll allow this army to focus on the other 2. They've now fled back further into the hills. That was the faction Heir, I guess, as well. I wonder if Sauron himself can actually fight on the field. That'd be a fun test. But here we go. That's still a decent battle. 3,000 against 6. We do outnumber them 2 to 1. But this will be our first battle against Mordor. Let's chuck a quick save and a hard save. Because this mod does have a tendency to crash a lot. Like I said, settlement battles don't really work. But it's a 2-pronged bridge battle. Let's fight this one on the battlefield. 4 units of Gondorian Cavalry, the main army. 5 archers, the rest with just Gondorian swordsmen, which we've reorganized. So we've got the Battle of Oros. It's a bit of a dark and misty day as the smoke rises from Mount Doom. So let's put our units together. So I think pushing from this crossing is the play, as we do have a full stack in reinforcements. We'll allow the Gondorian Cavalry to scout and push over the river. Hopefully they don't turn out like Faramir's cavalry unit that goes back to Osgiliath. But we'll allow the Gondor Cavalry to charge and scout over. The thing is with Mordor, in Rise of Mordor, they have numerical, like a large variety of numerical units. They've got a lot of orcs per unit, but they just don't have the equipment. But it's the quite opposite for us. But here are the officers and units presiding over. Let's unpause and go. Let's push over the river. The order's been given. The cavalry goes first. Then the swordsmen. Then the archers. We'll go with a flammable shot as it is a little bit foggy. And it will light the way. 4 full stacks of cavalry pushing over. Some wild beasts of Mordor. The wolves go back to report, I guess. But the medium Gondorian Cavalry gracefully trotting along the shallow waterway. But here are the orcs of Mordor, ready to push out. We cannot let this evil go unchallenged. We're fighting for the men of the West and the freedom of Middle-earth. Right, these reinforcements are going to take a bit. So we'll try and get them to cross this part of the river to cause a surround. But already it looks like Mordor, essentially the Saracens there, have a lot of units at their disposal. So it should be a couple good wars and battles against Mordor. And this is going to start off the Mordor and Gondor wars for the series. But yeah, we could have focused on Durin's folk, maybe on the Eastlings to the north, but I think focusing on Sauron and trying to eliminate him is probably the play. We're not going to be able to do like a massive 10-part series, I don't think, on this mod. But we'll just have to see how we go. Because it's just a little bit too buggy. I don't know, have you guys experienced the same thing? I certainly have. So we're going up against these orc rabble. Very poorly equipped. Got a lot of orcs. I remember in Battle for Middle-earth 2, weren't like orcs in that strategy game like free? Maybe that was the first one. Yeah, 260 per unit. But the Gondor Cavalry has managed to smash the orc rabble over the river and destroyed 2 full units in quite quick succession. Let's reform the line. And get ready to charge if anything goes across. There were some halberds. They've also used the some of the unit cards from the tabletop, like the Lord of the Rings tabletop. Which is really cool. Okay, so they've got some Easterling or Southron cavalry pushing up. Still a little bit away before those reinforcements come. Yeah, line of sight is very tricky in this sub mod. Like, we can't see them at all there, can we? We'll push into it though. Yeah, there we go. The Serpent Scouts will not be able to hold against professional and battle-hardened Gondor Cavalry. Keep it up, lads. I told you we're massively going to have to rely on them. They're really going to be the MVPs of this series. They're now crushed. More orc rabble pushing up towards the front line. Yeah, get to the front line. Okay, let's try and space this out a bit. We can nearly turn this opposite side of the river in maybe a defensive position. Alright, you move there. Get rid of the last of those mercenaries. But now we can see the majority of the full army. We've got to watch out for those halberds. They are one of the things that could very much melt away our cavalry. More orc rabble there. But here are the halberds. I love how decrepit and hunchback these orcs are. And then we have the general unit and the Mouth of Sauron there. Or a Servant of Sauron, because I think there's a fair few of them. Great model. Right, let's move some of those cavalry back. We're attacking them at the end of the day, but we've killed so many of them, we've got a lot of cavalry baiting. We might be able to just cycle charge anything that comes up. Allow the Gondorian infantry to hold the line. And we'll try and skirmish once they're in range. The cavalry are having an absolute field day here today. Alright, pull further back. Our Vale men-at-arms can hold. Yeah, their light cavalry is just getting decimated, but maybe they can't see as well. Maybe they don't have the best line of sight. Reform there. Ready to charge anything that comes up against us. Move that general unit slightly back. Just in case the Gondorian bowmen get hit. There we go, like that. Those reinforcements are taking so long to rotate. We'll reform here. Reform the line. Get ready to charge. We've got some orc rabble bowmen pushing up. As long as we don't clip those halberds, we should be alright. The infantry are nearly here. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much if they enter this fight. We'll charge these bowmen now, though. Those ones that are nearly intertwined with infantry, we might need to pull back. But these guys right over here should get a massive charge on. And a little bit of friendly fire there, as now my archers are in range. Right, that's a good charge. Now pull back. Archers. Fire at will. Make sure to pick your targets right. We'll form up and we'll go again. Very heavy spear cavalry. Is that actually what they are? I thought they were just mediums. I would expect the essentially like the Dol Amroth cavalry to be the very heavy. Crikey, they're so good. I knew they were good, but I didn't comprehend they were fully that good. Right, get our archers, get their shots off. We'll try and flank around with our cavalry. We might just have to charge our infantry soon. But without coordination from the one... I was about to say one ring, the one eye. Or the eye of Sauron, I guess. The orcs are getting absolutely decimated here today. Our cavalry has hardly taken any losses. Right. Let's charge the infantry up. They just can't stop the cavalry. Reform, and now that they're turning their backs to us, get a couple quick shots off there. Infantry pick a unit to charge, and we'll be good. Alright, move there. Now we're starting to fight them. So campaign-wise, we are playing on normal and battle, but I might have to put things up after this. The thing is, right, it's balanced for online mostly, Rise of Mordor for now. I don't know about this sub-mod. I couldn't find patch notes because it's a little bit deceiving sometimes. A lot of mods are perfect for very hard. But some are balanced to be on normal. For example, DEI, Divide et Impera. We might be able to hit these orc pikes if they open an opportunity for us. We'll hit these Orc Warriors here with a good charge. Yeah, there we go. We're going to blind them with the light of a Luvatar. Like Gondor did. Gondor Gandalf did. When he did it in on the fields of Pelennor with Faramir, didn't he? And he also put out a blinding shot in the battle for Helm's Deep. But soon, if we're lucky, they're probably going to call it. We've got victory. And a great verse victory for the men of the West. But there's still a fair few Mordor armies to deal with. And their puppets as well. Which is always a problem when you face the Sassanids. In Total War Attila. Man, oh man, check out this Uruk general unit that's really carrying us. Or carrying them. Look at that. It's really holding us off. Uruk Throng. Yeah, check that out. The charge of Gondorian Cavalry should soften them up a bit. Alright, decisive victory. We've run a few of them down. Wow, we lost 100. What? I know we outnumber them 2-1, but crikey, check out the Gondor Cavalry. 394, 425. So spamming those bad boys out is definitely the play in this War of the Ring campaign. My god. Well, they have now been decimated. Yeah, as you see, look at these Orc Warriors and stuff. They've been modelled off the tabletop. That's really quite cool. We'll kill the captives. And we'll continue the war. Right, we'll take this now because unfortunately we can't do sieges in this mod. I don't know what it is. It just lags too much. There's some Haradrim inside, which we could have thought which would have been cool. But a decisive victory, and we've taken our first piece of territory in Mordor. So, unfortunately, guys, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching episode 1 of my Total War Rise of Mordor Gondor campaign on the War of the Ring mod. All the links in the description below are available if you guys like to download the mod and play along with me. I've been enjoying this mod. It's been a lot of fun. I know you have to sort of suspend your disbelief a bit for the campaign map, but I still find a lot of fun with this scenario, even though it is in Europe, of course. But stay tuned for episode 2 coming out tomorrow, where we continue this war against Sauron and hopefully have a couple more decent fights. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already with the bell notification on. Let me know in the comment section down below feedback and suggestions for the video, and feel free to leave a dislike. If you want to support the channel and follow me on my social media links, they are all linked in the description below. We've got the series playlist that you can access. You can also have a look at my gaming and recording equipment. If you want to get yourself some cheap games, check out the links. You can support me on Patreon if you want. Channel members are available. Use creator code SimpzyTotalWar on the Epic Games Store checkout to flick me a couple of bucks. We've got Twitter, Discord, merchandise, Facebook, Steam group, Instagram, Twitch, and Google Plus links all in the description below as well. But above all, guys, make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. Goodbye.